T6, January 2018, non-calculator. Consider the kite as two triangles which are identical. The height of the triangle will be 3. So the area of one triangle is half the base times the height, which gives us 45, divided by 2. And if we have two triangles, the area of the kite will be 45 over 2 plus 45 over 2, which is 45. Always remember, check the answer line, and we have our units given, so we don't need to add units. Substitution, work out the value of v when w is 4, x is minus 3. So that is 4 times minus 3 times minus 3 all over 2. So that's 4 times 9 divided by 2. 36 divided by 2, which is 18. So the manager's salary will be between 25,000 and 28,000. All of the integers that satisfy this, so integer means whole numbers. So we want the whole numbers that are greater than minus 3, so it's minus 2, minus 1, 0, and then 1, and less than or equal to 1. Finally, solving the inequality, there's two ways to do this. The first is dividing both sides by 2. So 2x minus 4 is greater than 14. 2x would be greater than 14 plus 4, which is 18. And x would be greater than 18 divided by 2, which is 9. We could have expanded the brackets, so 4x minus 8 is greater than 28. 4x is greater than 28 plus 8, which is 36. X is greater than 36 divided by 4, which is 9. I'm unable in this app to do constructions, but I'll describe what you need to do. 4 centimetres from the point A means that you want to take a circle at the point A of radius 4 centimetres with our protractor. We repeat this then at point B, and we want our 4 centimetres, and everything that is left is more than 4 centimetres from A and more than 4 centimetres from B. Always start these questions with the original. So we have 524 multiplied by 7.3 equals 3,825.2. That's our relationship. We're dividing 524 by 10 to get 52.4, and we're dividing 7.3 by 10. If the left-hand side has been divided by 100, then the right-hand side must be divided by 100, so our answer is 38.252. Similarly, I'm going to ignore the fraction and start with our relationship. We have multiplied by 10 on the right hand side to get 38,252, and on the right we have divided by 10. The relationship between left and right must be equal, which means we must multiply 524 by 100, which gives us 52,400. Estimate, we're going to round to one significant figure, so on the top that gives us 6 plus 30, and on the bottom 8 take away 3. So that's 36 divided by 5, which is 7 1/5. Reciprocal means to invert, so 5 over 2, the reciprocal is 2 over 5. Write down the two numbers, which are the square roots. So square roots give plus or minus, and the square root of 1 is 1, but the square root of 25 is 5. So we have plus 1/5 or minus 1/5. To reflect in the line y equals x, we have to draw the line y equals x, and then we use the diagonals to plot the new points. and that gives us our new shape S. To do a rotation, we ask for tracing paper, which we place over the shape and we trace out the shape. Put our pencil point into the point of centre of rotation, which is at -1, 2, and then we rotate the tracing paper 90 degrees anti-clockwise. Then trace over the shape onto the page, again using ruler and pencil, and that gives us the new position T. Finally, we ask for the transformation that marks R to Q. Important thing to notice is that R and Q are facing the same way, so that means it's a translation. And in this translation we have gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down and 2 left. So the transformation that fully maps R onto Q is a translation. 2 down and, 2 left and 6 down. We're told that A is an odd number and B is an even number. So if we do an odd plus an even, we will always get an odd number. If we then do an odd times an odd, we will always get an odd number. So which of this number statements below describes the number A plus B all squared? It is that it is always odd. We're asked for Adam's speed in the first part of the journey, and in the first part of the journey he goes 20 minutes, and in those 20 minutes he travels 3 kilometres. So if 20 minutes is 3 kilometres, then in 60 minutes we would have done 3 times that, which is 9 kilometres. So his speed for the first part is 9 kilometres per hour. Adam's brother leaves the garage at 10:10, which means he leaves the garage at this point here. He's travelling at 22 kilometres in an hour, which means he will travel 11 kilometres in 30 minutes, which means that 30 minutes later he'll be 1 kilometre away from home. So at 10:40 he will be 1 kilometre away from home. If we join these 2 points with a ruler, we were asked to show where Adam and Ben cross, and they cross here, which is at 10:30. So our answers were 9 kilometres per hour and 10:30. 4/11 is 4 divided by 11. 11 doesn't go into 4 but goes into 43 times. Remainder 7, it goes into 70 6 times, remainder 4, and the pattern is going to repeat itself. So as a recurring decimal, it's 0.36. To do this subtraction, I'm going to write the numbers out as ordinary numbers. So 0.041 subtract 0.0028. I need a 0 here to allow us to do the subtraction. 0 take away 8 we can't do, so we take the 1 from here. 10 take away 8 is 2. 40 take away 2 is 38, which leaves us with 0.0382. 3.82 times 10 to the power minus 2. When multiplying and dividing, it's easier to work in standard form. So the breadth will be the area divided by the length. So we want to do 5.6 divided by 8, and 8 goes into 56 7 times, so that gives us 0.7. And then we want to do 10 to the power minus 4 divided by 10 to the power minus 2, And whenever we are dividing, we subtract the powers. Minus 4 subtract minus 2 is minus 4 plus 2, which is minus 2. So this gives us 0.7 times 10 to the power minus 2. Need to be careful. This number needs to be a number between 1 and 10, so that's 7 times 10 to the power minus 1 times 10 to the power minus 2, which gives us an answer of 7 times 10 to the power minus 3. To rationalise the denominator, we multiply top and bottom by the square root of 3. The top line, this gives us 6 root 3 plus 5 times square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is the square root of 9. And then the bottom, square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is the square root of 9. Square root of 9 is 3, and 5 times 3 is 15. 6 divided by 3 gives us 2. 15 divided by 3 gives us 5. If we deal first of all with the top line and the cubing, 4 cubed is 64. X squared cubed is x to the power 6, and y cubed multiply the powers gives us y to the power 9. The 64 will remain as it has nothing to cancel with. X to the 6 divided by x to the 1 is 6 take away 1, which is 5, and y to the 9 divided by y squared is 9 take away 2, which is 7. Square root of 2 cannot be simplified, but 50 is 25 times 2, and 8 is 4 times 2. So this gives us 6 root 2 plus 3 times the square root of 25 times root 2 plus 4 times the square root of 4 times root 2. So that is 6 root 2 plus 3 times 5, which is 15, plus 4 times 2, which is 8 root 2. 6 and 15 is 21, plus 8 gives us 29 root 2. If we start with throwing the 2 dice, I'm going to draw a possibility space. And I'm looking for all the times I get a 6 or 7. That'd be a 2 and a 4, a 3 and a 3, or a 3 and a 4, 4 and a 3. 2 and a 5 gives 7, 2 and a 5. 6 and 1 gives 7, 6 and 1 gives 7. Altogether that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the probability of a 6 or a 7 is 8 out of 36. 4 goes into 8 twice, 4 goes into 36 9 times. I'm going to use a tree diagram. So a head and a tail for the first coin, a head and a tail for the second coin. I have 2 heads already, which means I can ignore the options for the third and the fourth. That has to be 2 tails. Head and a tail. If we get a head, then it would be a tail. If we get a tail, then it would be a head. Tail, head, head, tail. Tail, head, tail, head, tail, tail, and the only one that would leave us with is head, head. Each of these are a half times a half times a half times a half, which is 1/16. And altogether we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ways of achieving this. So the probability would be 6/16, which is 3/8. That means the probability with the dice is 2/9, which I'm going to write as 16 over 72, and the probability with the coins would be 3/8, which is 27 over 72. So the answer is the coins, and that is because it has the largest probability.